You have tuned in to Authors Up here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. Your hosts are authors Ruth Griffin, Andrea L. Hines, and yours truly, Victoria Henderson Poole. We love what we do, and we know it is every author's desire to get their work to a greater audience. Authors Up is a forum for authors by authors, those who are already published and those who want to be, along with other writers and playwrights. Here we provide an opportunity for their work to be showcased as we share our own, gain tips and tools, information and insight to not only enhance the writing process, but be able to just enjoy the journey. Those who are willing to put pen to paper will usually have a story they are willing to tell, and they are invited to tell it right here. And if you are not a writer yet, no worries. We want you to be a part of our listening audience. So take notes if you like, send in your questions, or just feel free to comment on the candid conversation, because it's time for Authors Up.
Well, good evening, everybody. We are so glad to have you here tonight. You have tuned in to Authors Up, and we're hoping that you're making this your favorite place to be on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. We are surely glad to have you. We hope you have had just a wonderful week and a wonderful Sunday. But I don't want to start doing too much talking this evening because I always like for my co-hosts to welcome you. They get angry if I don't let them talk right in the beginning.
So there she go, Ruth. See.
So we're going to keep them happy tonight. How about that? So why don't you get started, Victoria? Why don't you welcome our guests tonight?
Well, welcome, everybody. And, of course, I have to say welcome to my Bronze Girls. Just really grateful to be here another night with you. Y'all know I love y'all so much, and so welcome, everyone.
And how about you, Ruth?
Well, I think Victoria said it best. Just welcome, everybody. Love you guys, and glad we're here.
that last part is so important. I'm glad we're here too, because there's a lot going on out there, guys, and some of it's good news, some of it's not so good. But you know what? We are indeed still here, and we are here grateful, and we are here just honored to have the opportunity to welcome listeners onto our program and have you guys join us on Sunday evenings. So we want to keep with our usual protocol, and that is that we're going to tell you a little bit about our week, what's been going on with us. So what have you had on tap, Victoria?
Well, I'm still working on my health maintenance program. I'm happy to report that I'm down about 9 pounds, and I'm so excited, even with my little cheating a little bit. But, it's been consistent, and I'm feeling pretty good about the changes I'm making. So in April, I'm going to I want y'all to hold me to it. Got to get the exercise going. So I used to walk a lot, but after I had COVID, everything just kind of stopped. So my aim is in the month of April to get back to walking and see if we can get those pounds further down. So I'm excited about that. But that's it for me. Just had a break last week with, the spring break for school. So I took a few days off just to relax and just be with family, and that was pretty good. So I'm good.
That's awesome, Victoria.
Thank you.
Awesome. And what about you, Miss Ruth?
Well, I had 2 significant events this week. I had my first day at work, which was awesome in and of itself. So, of course, we're because of the COVID restrictions, there was only 6 people there, but, it was still great. But the only thing that made it not so great was the fact that I had gotten my second COVID shot the day before, and everything hit me at once. So it was like the chills, the nausea, it was not great. I mean, I made it through the day, most of the day, because I can flex my time. I made it through most of the day and got home and then took like a 4-hour nap, ate some dinner, and then went back to sleep. So, yeah, it was, and this is just something I want to tell everybody, whether you're a Christian or not, take it seriously. Just because somebody says, oh, you're going to be sick, that doesn't mean you're speaking things into the atmosphere. Just take it seriously and just be aware of what your body can do and cannot do. And you know what? We're all getting older. And, some things are going to slow us down. So, no, we're not Wonder Women anymore. We just have to slow down and take care of ourselves. And you know what? A smart me would have said, you know what? I just got my shot. Let's start on Monday. But honestly, I was too excited to do my, I wanted to go to work. So there's no excuse, and I probably wouldn't change it. But at the same time, even my boss was going, if I'd have known, I probably would have sent you home. I'm like, okay.
Right.
So either way, it was a great day. But, it's just take it
could have been better.
When you're getting that second shot. Yes. So I'm on the mend now. I'm better. But it's just one of those things where you're just like, you know what? We're not super Christians. We're not super women. We're just here. And, things are going to happen and, deal with it. So, that was my week.
Okay.
You know what?
How about you? Better.
Good. Yes, we are. We are glad you're better. And that really is good advice, Ruth, because we have to pay attention. We really, really have to pay attention. And everybody's journey is not the same. Everybody's health journey is not the same. And I did very good with the first one. I talked to myself all the way over. I'm not going to be one of those people that get sick. I'm not going to be in pain. I'm not going to, and just did all of that. And, sat down in the chair and she said, take a deep breath, and it was done. It's painless, and I haven't had any problems, and I'm grateful for that. Now, I take my second one, I think, on the 14th. And prayerfully, I won't have any issues with that either. But the main thing for me was to make the decision to do it in the first place.
Right.
And it's a decision that I'm glad I made. I'm glad I've done it. I'm glad it's almost done. And I encourage people to get informed and do what they think is right for them to do, whichever way that happens to go. I wanted to ask Victoria something, though. Victoria, you were talking about your exercise journey and everything. Do you go 5 days a week? Do you go 3 days? Do you go the same time every day? Does it vary for you?
No, I hadn't been going the same time every day because the schedule changes. But I had been trying to consistently walk every day, at least 5 days a week, at least, and at least 30 minutes. So I gotta work it up back to back. But I'm starting with doing 1 mile, and then I'll go to 2 miles and see how that goes. So it's but it's just being consistent. It's just, even if I just do the first day 15 minutes, I just got to get back out there, and I'm sure I'll feel better too. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you to shoot me a text message whenever you do, whenever you exercise.
I will do it,
because it was helping me before to have that little bit of accountability, and I have to. I just have to begin.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes it's not difficult to follow through. You just got to get started.
Got to get started,
and
right.
I know, what was it, a couple of years ago when the church had that health challenge, and I was up doing videos in the dark. It was like 5:30 in the morning, something crazy. I was out there doing my little videos, getting my walk in, and I managed to do a 5K twice. So I know I
can. You can do it. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, I know I can. I just
have
to get disciplined and get back in the swing of wanting to do it. So, I want you to help me with that, if you will. Okay?
I promise you.
And listeners, you be out there and whenever you do your exercises or whatever, just say to yourself, I hope Andrea's out there walking. She's going to walk today. Put me in your conversation somewhere so I'll have a good report when we come back next week. But I tell you what, let's talk about this week and talk about what we've got going on tonight.
Yes.
Tonight we have a special treat for you. And I mean, this is a special treat. If you could see me, I'm just grinning from ear to ear because I'm so excited about what we've got
me
tonight.
Too, actually.
Yep. We usually do My Time Story Time, and we were slated to do that today. That's usually an opportunity that we give our listeners to participate in the writing process by submitting character profiles. We give a title of what the story is going to be, and we have at least 3 people do a character profile. And then Victoria and Ruth and I get together and write the story that we present to you on a Sunday evening. But this time, one of our listeners decided to submit a story rather than a profile. Now, you're going to get to meet her, get to know a little bit about her, and she is going to read her story to us tonight. So please send us some hearts. You know how we do. And help us welcome a faithful listener, Serena Davis. Welcome.
Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Good evening, Authors Up. It's such a pleasure to be on with you this evening. Thank you.
We are happy to have you.
Yes, we are. And I personally like to thank Serena for being here. Serena is my first cousin, and she has been a faithful listener from the very beginning. She's just been very supportive, always tuning in, and even sent us a character profile the first time we did the My Time Story Time. So I'm just so grateful for you to be here, Serena. Thank you again. All right. Well, why don't you start tonight by just telling everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I was born in Bronx, New York. I have 7 brothers and sisters. Well, I had. I have 5 now. I have 1 child. I am a graduate of the High School of Fashion Industries, and I graduated from Lehman College in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in sociology. I currently work for the Department of Ed. I've been working for 23 years, and I am an assistant teacher for special ed. And I just love teaching. I love working with children. I have also served in my children's ministry in my church for like 4 years, and just out there working hard and just doing what the Lord asked me to do, and staying faithful.
All right. Well, thank you. Have you always wanted to write? Tell us a little bit about that part of you.
Okay. Well, I like writing. I love writing. I love just writing my thoughts and my ideas, just to get out whatever frustrations or just happy moments, just getting the pen to the paper and just writing it down. I used to keep a journal, diary when I was younger. So now I just do a journal, and I just love to write. I just love to just dive in there, my fears, my hopes, my dreams, my happy moments and my unhappy moments. And then from time to time, I can go back and look at it and see where I may need to improve upon something, or just say, you know what, it's done. I did that. So moving on now, So writing is just a good release for me, good stress release.
Oh, good. Well, you are definitely in good company because we all like to journal. And so we encourage everybody we talk to, when we hear journal, we start smiling because that's us. So
yeah, that's true.
All right. So what we're going to do right now, Serena, we're going to ask you, let's go ahead and hear your story, and then I believe then Ruth will have some questions for you. But let's go ahead and hear Serena's story, everyone. And send them some hearts for her.
Okay. Okay, so the title of this storyline that I was presented with was called Flight 325, I believe. I am not sure. I'm just a little nervous, so bear with me.
All right.
Okay.
Sandra was preparing to travel with her 14-year-old daughter, Rachel Lee, to a quiet place in Canada. They both had been so excited to get away for a few weeks for some fun and relaxation and to see some family members. Sandra was already packed and ready to get to the airport. On their way, she started thinking about how for the past 5 months she and her daughter had not been getting along. There was constant arguing, door slamming, and Rachel Lee locking herself up in her room to avoid talking to her mother. Sandra was hoping this trip would do them some good. To her surprise, Rachel was more than happy to leave for a little while, so she thought. Once they arrived, they both noticed that there was a lot of unusual busyness throughout the airport. As they went through security and waited for their passports to be checked, there was news about this coronavirus pandemic, how serious it was and how quickly it was spreading, and how people were dying. Fear gripped Sandra, and her thoughts of going somewhere to just relax and build on her relationship with her daughter started to fade. She did not know what was happening or what to do. At the moment, announcements began about flight cancellations and how the airport would be shutting down. TSA officers were leading people towards the exit as quickly as possible. It was clear to Sandra that going away to Canada was not going to happen. She wasn't even thinking about the money that would be lost. Her only concern was about health and safety. As they made their way out of the airport, they could see and hear the people around them talking about this COVID-19 pandemic. That just made Rachel and Sandra more upset. Once they arrived at home, they settled down and Rachel began to spray their luggages and clothes. Sandra was surprised but relieved that her daughter was doing something to help stop the spread of this unknown virus in her home. Afterward, Rachel took a shower and placed her clothes in the laundry and began to mop and clean. Sandra was sitting down on the sofa, drinking a cup of tea because she was so afraid and scared and needed to relax. She had started watching the news and tried to make sense of this newfound information. Although Sandra and Rachel Lee had not been getting along these past few months, watching her daughter clean up and wipe things down warmed Sandra's heart. Once she had heard about what to do and how she'd need to do it, she realized the city would be shut down for the next 90 days. Sandra began to do a check on groceries and other items that were needed. So then she asked Rachel Lee if she wanted to go with her to the market, and Rachel Lee said, "Sure, Mom." Once they had gone out to the store with their mask on, they bought more masks and gloves and more cleaning supplies, along with extra milk, eggs, some canned goods, and meat. The store was a little bit crowded, but they did not mind. This was the first time in a long time that Sandra and Rachel Lee had spent quality time together. After dinner, Rachel Lee fell asleep on the sofa next to her mom. Sandra kept watching the news about the details of the virus and the cause and the symptoms. She sat there thinking, how would she be able to live in the same house with this angry, hormonal teenager without killing her? Also, she would now have to work from home because she was the pupil accountant secretary for the Department of Education in Manhattan. But she decided to think positive. She realized this was God's way of binding the love that they have had for one another as mother and daughter, and they would be all right. Sandra thought about the trip that they were going to take, but then realized if the whole world was affected or would be affected, then staying home, remaining safe, would be the smartest choice. Staying safe was the key, and remaining healthy, especially for her daughter. Ladies, that's my profile.
That was awesome. Thank you, Serena.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job. And good job reading it. You did well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, you just, I think I want to tell people that usually it's just a conversation between us. So, you don't even have to worry about anybody else hearing you. But you did awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ruth.
Yes. So tell us a little bit, what made you write the story?
I wrote the story because I can relate to these unprecedented times we are living in right now. Dealing with the coronavirus pandemic, I was able to compare this story of my own life living with my adult daughter and the day-to-day struggles of life and learning how to get along with one another and to laugh and just being able to lean on God, trusting him to bring families together, bring her and I together. And because it's of today that we're going through this, that struck a chord in me. And I said, you know what, I can do this. I can write on this. So that's where I got my inspiration from.
And that's good. And I think most authors will tell you that, their inspiration comes from everyday life. It's a lot personal. So I think most writers will tell you that you'll find a little bit of them in everything that they write. So I think you did a great job mapping it out and just writing out your story. Do you, I know you said you journal. Do you have any preference for just, do you just write about what you experienced, or do you do any nonfiction or any fictional writing? Do you write any stories on the side? Or is this your first one?
No, I do not. No, this was my first one that I've written. But when I journal, it's just my day-to-day activities or whatever I have been through during that week or whatever's going on at the time in my life, and just my thoughts and how I feel about certain things, my own fears, my own goals of what I want to accomplish as I get older in this life. But basically, no, I have no – it's not nonfiction or fiction. It's just my own just personal day-to-day struggles or day-to-day accomplishments, and just writing, just having a piece about writing, something that I like. I love to draw, so I sometimes draw and I paint. So when I paint my pictures and when I draw them out, I'll just sit down and I'll just start writing about what it would look like if I did this or what it would look like if I did that. So it's no preference. I just love to write. I just put whatever I'm feeling on paper.
That's awesome. Do you have any plans for more writing in the future? Do you still journal, or is that something that was more of a past tense?
I still journal here and there. I don't do it as often. I do more reading now, and my job has us pretty busy. But I just journal here and there, and I like to write for you guys. When you guys put up a script for the stories, the themes, the Mind Time storyline, I find that to be very interesting. So I can kind of relate to many of the topics that were given prior. So I love to just, continue with that. Just write a storyline on that or a character profile on whatever's being given to me.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Serena. Andrea, do you have any questions? Andrea?
Well, I tell you, Serena, you may have put yourself in the hot water pot, because when you say that you like to write, based on the things we're putting out there, we're going to be looking to hear from you for everybody.
Well, that'll be great. That'll be great.
We've got going, because that is a wonderful thing. And I did want to explore a couple of things with you. I know for me as a writer, it was very difficult in the beginning for me to share what I had written with other people. Is this the first time that you have shared something that you have written, and how did you feel about it when we, said, you've got a story on your own and we want you to share that? What did that feel like to you?
Okay, so basically it's like a two-part question. So I would say this. This is not my first time that I've shared a story. When I was attending college, I have written my classwork and things like that, essays and like that, and I have stood up in front of the auditorium full of people and read my essays because they had graded me with an A on them and everything. But no, this is not my first time writing for anybody. It's my first time writing for a broadcast show. I apologize because I love Authors Up. But I have read it from the public before. I have did many activities within my church of having to speak about maybe the 7 last words or whatever we were teaching the children in ministry. So this is not my first time. And I've even written plays for my church. We did a Easter program, and I wrote the whole play. I wrote the whole play. So this is not my first time, but this is my first time speaking with a broadcast show, which I'm very honored to have I'm very honored to be able to share with you guys what I've written.
Well, I'm
a little nervous. I got to breathe.
That's okay.
You're doing fine, Serena. You're doing fine. We are honored as well because when we began this program, we wanted to make sure that we opened some doors for people and that we were able to not just introduce writers who are currently published, but to help those who have a desire to write. To have another outlet and to have another platform. So this is, I believe, something that is just almost tailor-made for you. You have a desire to write. You've been writing. You've been writing in different formats and different platforms, so to speak. So it is really our joy and our pleasure to be able to open things up for you just a little bit more. And I want to ask you, I don't think Ruth touched on this, but I do want to ask you, in the future, would you like to publish a book? And if so, what do you think it would be about?
Well, speaking for in the future, I believe I would like to write a short book, a small book, and it would be about the mending of a broken heart. That's a personal journey for me. And what are the steps that you would take to mend a broken heart, and how you are able to come out of what you went into. That's what I would like to do, because maybe I can help somebody else. Maybe there may be many people who don't know how to deal with a broken heart or the loss of a family member or whatever the case may be. But a broken heart is a broken heart, no matter which way. So that would be like a writing. That would be the type of book, or just a little synopsis of what I would like to help somebody else with. Because we all out here to help other people. My journey and my message may be a message for somebody else. You know, I've been through some things in my life. So that would be where I would like to write, Miss Hines. You know, just to heal from a broken heart. You know, what do you do? How do you do that? You know, maybe feeling like you don't know where you're going to go. You're going to lose it all. You know, or you can't survive because this person's not here anymore. What do I do? And I know the first thing is that we must lean on God and trust and know that he will bring you out of whatever it is that you was in. And if just keep leaning on him and lean not to our own understanding, that God will bring us out and he will heal our broken heart. So that would be something that I would like to do.
And when do you think you might be getting started on that?
It sounds like she started, huh?
She said future. She said future. Then she said when you might want to get started on it. Well, I don't know. Maybe after this school year, I would say like maybe in July. You know, I would like to start maybe putting that together, and I would ask my cousin, how do I go about it? How do I begin? And things, and some literary help, but maybe in July.
Okay, you heard it here first. Maybe in July.
That's it.
In July. You know, and that's Serena, you know, on Authors Up, when you put something out there, we're coming back at you. So we're going to be encouraging you to begin that journey, and I really think that you have you already have it in your head and your heart. I can hear
that.
So all you need to do is pick up your pen and pick up your paper and begin. And I think you will have, a literary product, whether that's going to be a short story or a little book or a pamphlet or just, something about your journey in that area. And I do believe exactly in what you said, that when we are writing from our heart or doing anything from our heart, it always helps somebody else.
Amen.
Amen.
Part of putting it out there is the realization that you don't go through what you go through just for you.
Right.
You go through it so that you are able to help somebody else to grow and somebody else to, as you said, get through. Because there is one of the things you said that really stuck out to me was simply the word healing. Because we need healing in so many areas, and there's brokenness for people in so many places. And I think you have, if that is a journey that you want to start on, then I think it's going to be a good one. And I hope that some of the things that Ruth has talked to us about in terms of writing tips and things we need to do and know how to do, I hope that they will be very helpful to you on the next phase of this, which is going to be coming up when school is out in July. Just wanted to slide that in just one more time. But Serena, you have done a very good job with this story. And just so the listening audience understands, we came up with a title for this, and I guess you're saying, well, what is Flight 325? What did that have to do? Serena, we had a different storyline in mind, and I really just compliment Serena in saying, you know what, I want to write about this from this perspective. And she did such an excellent job in doing that we wanted you to see that, you can do it. We want people to be encouraged out there to say, you know what, you can do it. We interview a lot of authors and a lot of people who were already published, but to see Serena just kind of step out there and make that bold move and said, no, I got this. I can write about this, and go ahead and write her story about it. I just thought it was wonderful. And you all send up some more hearts because she really,
Thank
really
you. I really enjoyed writing it. I had called my cousin, and I told her I was up until like 11:30. And I was just writing, the thoughts were coming in, and I can just picture the whole scene. And she said, "Cuz you wrote a story." And I said, "Oh, wow." And she said, "You're supposed to do a profile." I said, "Okay, wait, I'll get back to you on that." And I went back, and I did it all over again, because I just could really relate to when you guys gave out that topic, that script line. I could relate to that. So it was just very interesting to me. And the thoughts just kept coming. The one thing about me that I amaze myself with is that when I begin to write a thought, it could be a thought of this, like the story, Flight 325. I saw the whole scene in my head. I began writing, but then there was other things that were coming up as I was writing. And I was like, oh, wow. And I just started writing. I just kept on going, So I amazed myself that way. And I said, I know that's God that's putting things in my head, because this wasn't here before. And I said, right. That'll be a great point. And then that'll be a great point. So I just like the storylines. Like, I find them very interesting. I love listening to the show, getting different ideas, different positive feedback for different areas of my life and other people's lives. And I really just enjoyed it. I'm just grateful that Authors Up have given me this wonderful opportunity to come on this evening and to share my story and to let other people know that just take a leap of faith, write your story, tell your story, encourage someone to do the same. My journal may help someone who may be struggling with mental illness or a broken heart or being dismissed from a job after 20, 30 years. So if you have something to say, write it down. Write it, journal it. Continue to write, put your feelings on the paper. And it really is a great stress reliever. It really is. So I thank Authors Up for this opportunity this evening.
Well, we thank you. We thank you, Serena. And I tell you what, and I hear Ruth in you with her tip to just start writing. Just start.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't have said it better.
That is a perfect segue to you, Miss Ruth, because I know you have a tip for us tonight. So tell us what you have for us to help us with our writing journeys.
Absolutely. So tonight, we want to talk about the language that you use. So good writers can make their readers experience the stories that they write by how they use their words, how using concrete details appeals to a writer's senses. I think this goes back to the, don't tell, show. So this was interesting. So a 2012 study at Emory University research monitors participants' brain activity when they read metaphors involving texture. So they used the sentence, he had leathery hands, as opposed to he had strong hands. And when they said, when they used the word leathery, it lit up their sensory cortex, which is responsible for perceiving texture through touch. So they were able to experience that texture. They were able to experience that touch just by how the author used language. So, it places the readers into the exact scene that you described. So, this is not if you're not if you're not into flowery language like that, that's one thing, write in your own words. But, think about the words that you can use, and people will experience what you're trying to say. So here's a few examples. If you, think about the visual. Here's an ad. You immediately glue your eyes to the skip button's countdown clock and wait until those lingering seconds finally slug by. It makes you feel how long that is. Auditory, but the 20-pen slips below were so hilarious and shocking that my laughter pierced through all my colleagues' noise-canceling headphones. How about touch? Let your well-formatted paragraphs put her attention on a guillotine hold. Or Sense and Taste. Turn bland writing into zesty sound bites. Think about the language that you can use, and think about what you want your reader to experience, because again, words are very powerful, and they can leave a lasting, the words that you choose can leave a lasting sense, lasting, impact on, the reader that you have. So, think about that as you write, that the words you choose, they will be able to experience. And that's my tip.
I like that.
Good tip.
Thank you. Great tip. Thank you, Miss Ruth.
You're welcome. I like that. Ruth, you always give us some good things, and I hope that we are, applying them, those of us who are trying to do things on this journey of writing, because you really have given us some good things to think about every single week, and we do appreciate it. And
yes, you're welcome.
We're coming to a wrap up tonight. Is there anything else, Ruth, that you would like to say in closing this evening?
Well, I just want to, of course, remind our readers that we love getting emails. We love hearing from you guys. So if you want to shoot us a message, shoot us a request, you have some ideas over content, or you're an author, you want to share your work, send us an email at authorsup@gmail.com.
Okay, and how about you, Victoria? You have any closing remarks?
Just to thank Serena again for coming, and just to thank her personally as my cousin, family, and my sis. Thank you for the support, and I really do appreciate it. And I'm so glad you got a chance to be on here with us tonight. We normally, interview people who've already published, but just to hear the excitement in you tonight, Serena, it just excited me, and my cheeks are hurting from smiling, but I just thank you for being here. And just to tell our listeners, too, remember to take care of yourself, like Ruth and Andrea were talking about earlier. Just take care of yourself during this pandemic. Just practice that self-care. And join us next week. That's all I can say. Just thank y'all for being here.
I am right in line with my co-host in thanking you. And Serena, I tell you what, there's nothing that's impossible, and there's nothing that a right door won't open for you to achieve your dreams and things. And who knows, one day after July, we'll be saying, Victoria will be saying, get the book.
Get the book.
A book by Serena Davis. Wouldn't that be exciting?
Yes.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Victoria and the whole Authors Up broadcast. I appreciate this day, this time, just to share my story. And I thank you so much for the encouragement. And I thank you that Authors Up has encouraged me to step out and get involved in writing and the ability to write effectively and to encourage others. So I thank you on this evening. May God bless you all, and happy Easter to all. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Well, you are more than welcome, Serena. And thank you, listeners, for being with us tonight. This was a first for us to be able to open the door and have one of our listeners read their work. And we are grateful for having the opportunity to do that. And, we are here every single week, and we will be here again on Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Until then, this is Andrea Hines with Victoria Henderson Poole and Ruth Griffin. And there's never a dull moment here at
Authors Up.